Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that can help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. And we have made it to Halloween week. So a few weeks ago, I made this Boo banner here live, and I actually forgot to add the link back into the description, but I'll come back and I'll add the link into the comments after. So I made, there we go, this cute, stinking cute little Boo Halloween banner. And so I thought, because this is Halloween week, this is the perfect time to add this banner to a layout instead of leaving it hanging behind me, right? So it was actually hanging on the front door. But so I had an idea, like I said, to turn it into a scrapbooking layout. So that's what I'm going to do today. I've got like a lot of stuff all over the place, but I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So I'm actually going to turn it into a double page spread. So two 12 by 12 pages. So we're going to add some to the banner so that we can stretch it across the 2 pages, and we'll create the layout. Okay, so I'm going to add my desk in here. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. Just drop them into the comments below. If I'm not live, make sure to still ask your questions. I will come back and I'll answer your question as soon as possible. And make sure to stay high when you jump on. So when I actually did, I think last week we did, I assembled the paper pumpkin cards for October, which are stunning. If you haven't seen that, you can go watch that video. But during that live, I started talking about, like those things that you see in the grocery store that it's like that season. I think we could still have that conversation for all those fun Halloween things. Like, I know in August, when the candy corn shows up in the grocery store, that we are headed into Halloween. Okay, so let's add my desk in here. I'm going to just talk to you quickly about what I did, the supplies that I used for the actual banner, and then I'll show you my idea. Okay, oh, we're a little bit crooked there. Okay, so like I said, I will come back and I'll drop the link for the original banner into the comments, but it starts off with, right, the party banners dies. And so because they're like bigger than the sheet that I'm on, I count the party banners in reverse. So like 1 being the smallest, 2 is the next size out. So banner size number 3, I only use that for the iridescent bag to cut it. But then 4 and 5 are the main dies that I used to cut the main part of the banner. You'll see too, because I'm going to pull over from the side, the actual pieces. And I have those banners with me in that pile. And then I used the Spooky Sweets Designer Series paper because there's like so many fun things in there. So I was able to mix like pattern paper, and I fussy cut out some of the pieces, and we did some ink blending here, which we're going to do again today. But then so I used the Spooky Sweets Designer Series paper, the iridescent bags, right? Because we did use one of these on one of the layers. So I have hopefully enough left for what I have to package up later today, because it is like the week of Halloween. So I am going to use those up. Okay, so then I also have the Spooky Halloween and Fright Night. So some of the pieces that I used, and then the Party Alpha, right? So we used this little tie for our ribbons. So I cut more of those, but like I used the fence. I have a haunted house cut out for today, the bats, like all the fun things. I used the Happy Halloween stamp. And then from this set, the Fright Night, we're going to use more of this one today. I didn't use any of these on the original banner, but I've used some of these pieces on to extend it for the 2-page layout. So this is also, you could take the same premise, right, and extend it if you wanted a longer banner. My banner is strung on the Petunia Pop, the iridescent ribbon. Okay, so I think that's everything that we started with. And now, here is my pile of stuff. Okay, oh yes, and I did use the Shimmer Star foam stickers. So we're going to add more of these. We're going to create our background here in a second, but I'm going to show you here all the other pieces I have ready to go. Okay, so there we go. We don't need this anymore because we can only fit so much in front of us, right? Okay, so I've got some photo mats, some photo placeholders. Oh, and then this, okay, so when I actually created this banner, this piece was on here too. So we had the 5 pieces. So like I said, we're going to extend it to go across the double page spread. So we're going to do these 4 on this side. Okay, and then this is going to go onto our second page. So what I wanted to do is create some more, right? Some more pieces that feel like they go with the same project. So I have here cut 3 more. 2 and 3. Okay, so for this one, we're going to create this same background behind here, and we've got some pieces from the suite, right, to create a little scene here. And for each of them too, again, I have the ribbon threader, or like it reminds, like I want to call it a paper clip, but it's not. It is paper and it is a clip. But we're gonna put the ribbon behind it on the other side. So I do have one of these, which I did one for each of those also. So I'm just going to fold these on the score line. Okay. And so I wanted to make them feel like they all went together, right? So that when we string them across the 2 pages, it'll feel like one solid project. And our title will be like the Boo Halloween, right? Okay. So like I said, I did pull this one off the original. I'm going to do this on our second page. And they're going to go like in this order too. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do the ink blending like I did on here. And then these 2, I created a little scene. So I cut from the piece of paper that had the scenes across it. So we're going to create our these first because they're the easiest. Okay, so just like I did with the first ones, I'm going to put my ribbon hanger on first. And I obviously have lots of extra ribbon. I'm just trying to decide. I think I'll just put it on a new string of ribbon. But this one is actually our first one, right? So, and you can pick, you can do this in whatever order you want. I'll just trim that ribbon off and I'll use it in a different project. Okay, so let's just start off. Okay, so this is what we're building on for our second layout. And I can actually just cut a length of this. Okay, so we're not actually working with it on the roll. Okay, so this is our first side. Here's the beginning of our second side. Okay, so I'm going to add my clip first. And I'm going to just adhere the front piece down and not the back piece, because I'll use that to wrap it onto the ribbon. And if you want to make sure that they're all lined up, I can just use this one as like my measuring gauge, right, for my other one. Okay, so I did cut the eek and the boo, like I said, from that other stamp set, the Fright Night. So now I can add this little scene onto this one. And like I said, I just cut it one smaller. Okay, and then we've got our little hippopotamus. And he's going to go on here. Just trying to decide if I'll put him on dimensionals. Then I will adhere my boo onto him first. Oh no, I can glue it after. I'm feeling like the hippopotamus needs big dimensionals. But of course, there's only small ones there, so let's grab it. Here we go. Now we have both sizes, so if we need them, we can. And I always, a fresh packet dimensionals, I just break them up so they're a little bit easier to use. And when you pull out one, you're not pulling out the whole sheet. So this would also be pretty hanging on like a wreath at the front door too. So there's lots of ways you could use this project. Okay. Here we go. We have our little hippopotamus, and I'm kind of hanging him off the edge because I'm just going to try and create a little more interest. And I will add some glue to my boo. And like I said, I kind of want it to overlap her or him. And then I'll add the embellishments once we can see them all together, because I do have the foam stars on here, but I kind of want them to go across the two pages. So, and like I said, I haven't actually glued that part down yet. Okay, so we're going to do the other scene, which is our little princess. And she's in front of the house with the ghost. And I'm going to add the piece of iridescent bag onto this one so that it matches this one. Right, and I can measure where my little clip goes from the one we already did. I'll leave the back piece open. Okay, so now I can add my scene. We're going to do the ink blending on the next one. Okay, so we have then our little princess, and I'm gonna put her over here. So like I said, I used the smallest, so like the number 3 to cut the iridescent bag, right? So I know it's gonna go behind her. See, and it makes that window look even that much spookier. So I can add some adhesive over here and you won't even see it because she's going to be covering it up. Okay, so I have just like one glue dot on there. Okay, and this one, right, it's just one smaller. Okay, so now it's adhered down, and I can add my little princess on there. And I also have this banner. So it will also help hold that window, the iridescent bag down there. So I can add another little bit of adhesive up here at the top. Okay, and then once I put this down, you won't see that at all. So like I said, you could use this to expand the original banner I already did. I'm going to put her on dimensionals. Okay, there we go. Just trying to decide. I think I'll add one more in there. There we go. Okay, so we have that one. Okay, so now we'll do our ink blending, which is exactly the same as, like I said, I did on the other one. But I'm just carrying it over, right? So it'll come onto the, oh, look at that. It got really, really sunny in here all of a sudden this afternoon. It is actually beautiful here. For like Halloween week, it is very lovely. Okay, I just have a sheet of paper underneath here, a grid sheet, so that we can get a little bit inky and not make too much of a mess before I start adhering the layout together. Okay. So the colors I used are the pumpkin pie. Just gonna slide my keyboard farther out of the way. There we go. Okay, so it kind of looks like the candy corn, right? But with the purple on the bottom. So we have pumpkin pie, Daffodil Delight, and Petunia Pop. Okay. These are the little pieces we're going to use to decorate this banner. And I have more than I need, right? So I did grab more pieces than I need because then we can edit out stuff versus deciding that I need something more to add inside. Okay, so same thing. I can add my clip, measuring it from one that I already know is already centered, right? So I can just lay it right on top. Okay, so we have our background ready. And then we'll do the Daffodil Delight first at the top. Right, so this brings this exact same look to the other side of the scrapbooking layout. Okay. Then we'll add in some pumpkin pie. Through the middle. And I'm just kind of trying to like just get them where I want them first, and then I'll make it pretty. Okay, and then we're going to do the Petunia Pop. right? And I want it to be similar, like to amounts than on the other side. So now I'm just going back and blending them together. And my pumpkin pie again. And I just want a little bit more the Petunia Pop blended in, and then I think we're good. So it will also dry back a little bit, right? So there we go. Okay, so now we have our 3 colors, and I'll just let it dry a little bit. And we'll close these up, and I'll move my scratch piece of paper out of the way. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a second to dry, and then we'll bring in what I'm going to do for the background. Okay, so I have some pieces here that I thought would make the last scene fun. So these are all from the punch apart sheet, right? So the broom, and then the little spider thing, and then the fence is a die cut, and so is the eek. So now I can adhere this piece on there, and do this. Okay, and then I can put the little eek up here. Okay, and then let's kind of have our fence like that. Okay, so now we've got all the pieces of our banner ready to go. And like I said, I'm going to add the stars at the end once we've got everything onto the 2 pages. Okay, so this is how it's going to read from side to side, right? So this will be on the left-hand page, and then this will be our right-hand page. Oh, apparently I need to give it more than a second to dry here. Okay, I'm just going to set a block on this, and I'm going to show you how we're going to create our background. Okay, so I'm going to stack these back up in order so I can put them on my layout in the right order. Okay, So then I wanted like a spooky kind of background for the pages. So I went back to some, but I didn't want to use necessarily like decorative paper or piece from the designer series paper. So I went back to something super like basic and easy to do. So I just took one of the spritz bottles and put some water in it and a little bit of basic gray re-inker and created a spooky background. So the fun part is, right, depending on like how much water you use and how much re-inker, you can make it darker, how close you spray it to your piece of paper, right? You can get more like a spray painted look, or if you do it up high, you get like just fine mist, right? So just have fun with it. So I just did like from quite high up a fine mist on both of my backgrounds. So I did do this beforehand so that it would dry. So you guys wouldn't have to wait for that. But so I'm just going to wipe off my surface. But that's how I did my backgrounds. Like I said, sometimes it's like super fun just to pull out those simple old techniques that maybe we haven't done in a while, right? So here we go. Now I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to find I'm just going to put down my two mats so that we get less shine coming off the glass. So there we go. We've got one pre-sprayed for the left, and here is our other for the right. Okay, so nice, simple, easy base. Here, I was going to show you, this is the sheet, right, that I took those last banners off of with the scenes, right, with the little ghost. So, okay, so we're going to go from, here we go. These are the two sizes that I used for cutting the banners, right? So one just fits inside the other. And then the one for the iridescent bag is just then that much smaller, right? But look how perfectly these are going to go across our layout. So this is going to be on our left-hand side. And right, it creates our scrapbooking title and everything. And see, now that I've used it as decoration, right, it still has another use. Okay, let's zoom out just a little bit. So you can see both sides. Here, I'll try and close this so I can get the... Ooh. Oh, it's coming from behind me. There we go. I would say that doesn't happen very often. Okay, so we're going to add some pieces to the bottom of our layout across both sides. Okay, so I have a piece of the Petunia Pop, and I took one section of the scene and cut it in half. So I have two pieces, and I believe they are 2 5/8 because that was exactly in the middle. Okay, so we'll add this across the bottom. of this side. Okay, and then I have a strip of the gray, which has like the tags on the background. And this piece is 1.5 inches. Okay. These are my photo mounts for this side. And so I replicated the same, right? The candy corn colors that are on our banner in the ink. Oh, hey, Stephanie. Okay, so then the other side, we're gonna add the same layers. The banner is super cute, and there's not a lot to it. So the first piece of the banner I did a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to add the link back into the comments after I'm finished because I forgot to do that. And then we added to it so that it would go across both the pages of the layout. Because originally I was actually going to use it just on my front door. It just hung across like a Halloween themed wreath at my front door. And then I thought, oh my goodness, well, it's super cute, so let's get some more use out of it. And so this is going to go on this side, the extended version. So here we go. We have one to match the other one. So I'm just going to actually glue these down now because I can still move them around, and I'll decide if if you just add adhesive on this part, right, then you can still move the ribbon around. You just have to, because it's upside down, right, make sure you get it in the order that you want it in the end. And I'm just making sure my ribbon's flat. Okay, and then our last one. And it's kind of nice because the ribbon is actually the same on both sides. So you don't have to worry about there being like a wrong side or a right side. So here we go. And you can kind of make them like cattywampus, some lower than the other ones, however you want. Okay, so now we need, for this side, I'm going to do, so this side has one 6x4 and then two 4x3s. And then I have a 6x4 for this side. And then I have a 4x3. And then we're going to do a little journaling spot with the Petunia Pop cardstock, right? So it mimics, each side is kind of the same, but they each have some of their own elements. Okay, so I need to move some stuff out of my way here. Okay. And for here, I grabbed these few little embellishments, but I have lots more if we need them. Okay, I'm just going to take a spin. Because even though it's sunny here, it's very dry also. So it's super crazy. I never get this kind of glare in the middle of the afternoon. So you guys know it is nice out there. Okay. And I think that I'm going to attach my banner down, and then I will probably tie the ribbon on the ends after. Okay, but let's add our two biggest photographs, and I want to kind of get them centered. So I will add them first. And I actually think I need some bats for this side, right? Because I have lots of bats on this side too. Well, I guess just here on this one. But I'm feeling like maybe we need to bring that over to the other side. Okay, so here's the middle, right? Because this is the 6-inch spot. So we'll add that one there. And I'll get this one down. On this side. And I'm not like being super particular that they're exactly the same. And then I'll add my Daffodil Delight one in. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put this one on first. And it's about 1 inch from the top. And I can just flip it over and add some adhesive to the back. And then flip it back down. Right? Because I kind of have them how I want them. Super cute. Okay. So let's flip this one over and add some adhesive. And flip it back. I can flip this one over. And flip it back. I'm just making sure I have enough room for my last one. There we go. Actually, let's just bring that down. So, there. Okay, and so I will tack this down on the sides and cut it off. And then I'm going to add some, I'm not sure if I'll add twine or ribbon for bows on the side. That I'll do after though. Okay, so now let's do the first side. And I think because like the top, right, there's so much from the banner, we don't really need to add a ton else to the layout. So I just want to kind of make sure, right, they match from side to side. Oh my goodness. You guys, in real life, it's super cute. Okay. So we're going to go like that. And I'm going to be brave on this side and add a little bit of adhesive onto each, flip them over, and then push it down. Look at me go. I might go in after too though and tuck some, like I might add like a glue dot underneath the bats so that nothing moves, right? But this is kind of just a nice simple way that I could still move it around a little bit, but it's in the right spot. Okay, so right, I want this one to match up with my right hand side. It creates your title. Oh, it's super cute. Okay, so right, same thing. I will run these around the back, making sure that the left and the right match up. And tie my little, I might add twine, or I don't know, I think I might add a bow. I might do both. You never know. Okay. So let's add this last photo spot over here. Okay, so I have the little Witch's a Potion pot here. I have literally had so much fun with the Spooky Sweet collection. The scrapbooking workshop turned out super cute. I had, like I said, I had fun playing with the banner. So I'm thinking like that. And then all I have left is on this side. But now I'm wondering if maybe I should put this on this side, tucked in the back. And bring the other part over onto the other side. So, okay, this is going to be a journaling box. So, I am going to splatter it. So I did that on the other layout that I created. And we're just going to splatter it with some pumpkin pie and some petunia pop. That's berry burst. That's blackberry. Okay, we got petunia pop light. That's fine. Okay. You could also just spray this if you wanted, right, with your water and re-inker, like how I created the background. You could do that at the same time. You could also add some of this splatter to your background if you wanted some color in your background. Okay, so let's now add some lines on here. Okay, so I want this at the bottom. So I do not need to add a line past this point. So I'm just going to mark it with my pencil. And then I can erase it. But that's as low as I want my lines to go. So this is just the same size as the 4x3 photograph. Just to make everything easy. Like I said, because the banner is like so pretty and so much of the layout, I wanted to keep everything else kind of simple. And I love the fact that, right, I put all that work into the banner. I got to hang it on my front door for a while. And I don't just put it away in a box. We're going to create a 2-page scrapbooking layout with it, right? So I have a feeling this year is going to be like kind of like a crazy Halloween, right? Because it's a Friday. So I always find that when it's on a Friday, it's a little bit extended, and especially because it's nice outside. So I'm just making sure, right, to leave the same amount of distance. I'm not going all the way from one side to the other. I'm leaving a little border around the outside. And the blends, when you splatter them, it dries so quickly, right? If you use the water and re-inker like I did in the background, it is turning out so cute, isn't it, Kathleen? I know. So Jane says, I've had so much fun with this DSP. It is like I have had a blast with it. And not every year is the Halloween collections necessarily my favorite, but like I said, I've had so much fun with this one. Okay, so this is our last one. I probably created more Halloween stuff this year than I have in a lot of years. Okay, and I just have my little pencil mark I want to erase before I forget, because I will forget. We all know that. And then I'll take photographs, right, and you guys will be able to see the pencil mark. And it wasn't that hard to extend it, right? Another couple of pieces. And like I said, too, by using this side, you could actually fold it up and put it inside a card and send it to somebody. Okay, so I'm going to glue down my fence, and I'm going to give it a second. Like we found with the last fence, I need to give it a second to dry before I move it around. And I'm definitely like a cutesy Halloween versus a scary Halloween. It was funny because we were just having this conversation. My daughter stopped by yesterday to print some photos and pick up some like finished cards to give as gifts. And we were talking about, like, because she lives close, she walked over, and the difference between how some people decorate in their front yard. So on our street, there's like a couple of really scary houses, right? Where like they've got like the graveyard in the front yard, and like there's fake blood everywhere. And then there's like another house where it's got like all the they're about 2.5 feet tall, and they're all just like the cute Christmas Christmas Halloween characters. You know, like a little like cartoon bat and a pumpkin, and then like somebody on the street has one of those huge like 2-story pumpkins. And we were just talking about like how different some of the houses are on the street. Okay, so this is what I'm feeling. Okay, we are going to get because I want this to kind of mimic the photo on the other side, my tray of extra stuff. So I think we're going to put like a part of a tree on each side, is what I decided. So I have the same Halloween blow up that I have had since close to from when it does it. I knew as soon as I was playing with the banner that it was going to be cute on a layout. That we've had almost as long as I think we've owned the house. It's like a big, huge blow up pumpkin, and it's got a cat on top. It's really cute. Okay, and we're going to need some of these candy corns for sure. And then, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adhere this down. I'm going to leave it off the edge though. So I think our fence is dry now. And if you guys think it looks cute on camera, you should see it in real life. I'll take pictures, and then this one I will actually try and write a blog post for too. Because I think there's like a fun lesson in the fact that like we took one thing and turned it into something completely different. Okay, so I'm going to hang the tree off the edge. So I will cut it off. I'm going to do another half a tree on the other side. And you have lots of trees. So, and then I have this guy. But, okay. I'm going to, though, tape, cut my ribbon. And like I said, I will come back and add some cute little bows on the side. Tape, tape. That will be in like the finished photos. Okay, so just have a little piece of washi. Okay, we can cut off our tree from the back so we can see the line. And we get it straighter. There we go. Okay. We have our little bird guy in his costume. We have some candy corn that we're going to add to the bottom. Okay. It's coming together. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side with our tree. So it's about 1 1/4 from the bottom. So I'm going to kind of try and I'm going to make it the same height on the other side so that it frames the layout nicely. Okay, so right here, this one though I'm going to tuck underneath my photo spot. Some dimensionals that I know are like literally right in front of me. Oh no, they're behind me. I tricked myself. And I really want to also add I don't know why, but I really want to add, okay, so let's make my ribbon come off at the same height about. Doesn't really matter because if I tie a bow there, you're never going to notice that they're not exactly the same. So let's add some washi here. And I'll use this piece, right, because it was longer from hanging it on the wreath on the front door. But I'll use this extra to tie my little pretty bows. Okay, but I don't need it back here, obviously, so we'll cut that off. And we'll run this one back here. We'll cut off the tree on this side. And I think that the nice subtle splatter in the background from just like the water and re-inker is just kind of enough in the background. Okay, so we cut off the excess of that tree. There we go. Okay. We have our little pumpkin for here, but first, for some reason, I just really want to paint those bubbles with Wink of Stella. So I'm going to, before I put the, I'm just pushing it to get it going. Oh, and of course I got lots. So I just pushed it onto a block so I can actually just dip back into that and I can paint it on in a couple of spots. You'll be able to see the Wink of Stella when I take the photographs. So like her crown, I could put a little bit of Wink of Stella. I'll go back in a second. Okay, but I really wanted that on there for some reason before I added this guy. Okay, so now, oh, the bird. I'm actually going to add some Wink of Stella onto this pumpkin. And then I need to add the stars at the top, and I need to see if, because I think that, so what I tried to do was pick up elements from the original banner that I created and repeat them on the other side. Right, so I have the iridescent bag, I have the blended background in 2 spots. We did some of the scenes, but I think I want those bats over here on this side too. And then the foam stars. And I think we almost might be done. Okay, so there's the little bird. I kind of feel like I want something there, but we'll see. So we'll do the candy corns. Like that. And then I'm going to put one in behind there, I think. But maybe we'll do the 2 in behind. Like that. And the 1 on the other side. Okay, so now, okay, I want to see if I have bats. If not, that's okay. I will make a couple more bats after. And we just have to put the stars on. So let's see. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so the bats came from right here, and I still feel like I have bats somewhere. Maybe there. And my little package of extra stuff here. Oh yes, because I did the other layout too with the spooky with the web on it. Okay, we're gonna have to cut out more bats, but I will do that after. You guys don't need to watch that. So let's add though our stars on. So love these foam stars in the colors. So, and I kind of put a little bit of all of them, and I'll add them down here at the bottom too. So we've got them on 2 on this side, 1 here. So let's add some over here. And I think we're going to go with the white ones over here. And okay, maybe we'll do some black ones here. That one I crushed, so I'll be gentler. Okay. Then down here, I think I'm going to put purple on this side. I think I want black over here. So they're almost like they're hanging out in the tree. Thank you, Stephanie. The second I played with the banner down like horizontal, because right when you're looking at it, you're always looking at it vertically. And so I actually laid it down to take photographs of it. And I thought, oh, that would be super cute as part of a scrapbooking layout. Okay, so we'll just add a few black ones over here. Okay, guys. Until I cut myself, I'm going to add Winkastella to my boo. And the eek. Because there's just something about a little bit of Winkastella in a few spots. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, I think we're going to call it done. I'm going to decide how I'm going to tie. I might actually just tie off with a bow at each end. So more than in the middle, because when it's in your scrapbook, it would just come like from one side to the other. So I'm thinking I might just do something like this in each of the corners, but obviously I'm going to make them pretty. So here we go. So I will actually add the link into the comments of the original video where I created these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I just created these ones, like I said, to match and kind of carry it across the 2 pages. So these are, though, the two that I used. This was just for the bag. So when you're looking at your party dies, the bag was the third from the inside. The white pieces and the seams were all the fourth. And then the black was all the fifth. And I love the little detail of these banners because it's just a little bit different, right? It's not like a straight edge. It's just got a subtle little curve to it. I love it. So like I said, I have had so much fun with this suite. So I will add a few more details. Like I said, I'll decide how I'm going to tie off my ends. You might see a few more little extras added on here because I do think I will cut out a few more bats. And I have a feeling I might put them here with her. And yeah, so that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to turn down one of the lights. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. Just drop them into the comments below and I will come back and answer them as soon as possible. And I will, for sure, you will see photos of this layout because I knew it was going to turn out really cute. So have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.